Hello, everybody, and welcome to Troop Talk Live. We have got one of our biggest episodes ever. We are joined by none other than Devang Desai and Brad Tilden. Devang and Brad, thank you for joining today.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Gina.
We are so lucky to have you on the show today. I know our audience is super pumped to talk to you. Shout out to Rusty and Pack 84. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all are seeing who is on the show today, so be sure you tag someone in the comments who you think would benefit from watching along live with us. Send your questions, send your shout outs. We'll try to get to all of those live. But I don't want to waste a bunch of time doing an introduction. You know these guys. We're going to get to know them a little bit better throughout today's show. I actually, just in case we have some brand new parents and unit leaders watching who are like, what's a key three? What does that mean? We've got the man to answer it. I don't think there's a better person to answer this than Brad. Brad, we do have families who are brand new to scouting on here. For those folks, can you tell us what is the national key three and what's your role as national chair?
Absolutely. Thanks, Gina. And before I do that, if I can, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And more importantly, thank you for volunteering with this fantastic program. It's very, very humbling. There are 450,000 adults that deliver this program to our country's young people. And it's really humbling to see the love for the program and the whole hour a week thing and everything that you all do to keep this going. It's so many of us have benefited so much from this program. And if you look, for me, if I look at our kids today or our families today or our country today, what we offer is needed more than ever, and it's resonating more than ever. So a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you're doing. And the second thing I want to say, Gina, and I'm sorry for not answering your question, is if you guys do want to, Devang and I aren't on this all that often. So please, if you do have questions for us, by all means, I don't know exactly how you do it, but put it in the chat box or whatever. We'd love to make this conversation as real as possible and spend the time addressing what's actually on your minds. But thank you again. Fantastic program. I know I am really honored to be in this role of being the national chair. And I'll let Devang speak for himself, but I think he might be as well. So the National Key 3 is basically identical to a council Key 3, but it's for the National Council or the National Board. And not everyone sees it this way, but I do like talking about this. So if we start with Roger Crone, he's the CEO. He's the chief executive of the Boy Scouts. He runs the Boy Scouts, the NOLC, the CSTs, actually all the volunteers in the organization report up through Roger Crone. Roger is responsible for delivering scouts to our country through all of you, but he's our senior leader. I'll do Devang second. Devang is the senior uniformed leader. So he's the commissioner, the national commissioner for Scouting America. And so he's the senior uniformed professional. People say he's the chief morale officer. One of the things I like to think of, and probably different people have their own idea about this, and Devang should throw in what he thinks, but I think for sure unit retention, they're there to check up on you. Do you have the tools you need? Do you have the resources you need? Is scouting going okay in your unit? So honestly, responsible for sort of engagement and retention of our scouts and our units, and also sort of for the growth of new units and bringing new scouts into the program. And then finally is the chair. All boards, we're a nonprofit. All nonprofits are governed by a board, and I happen to be the chair of that board. It's about a 43 or 44 person board, and I like to tell people the chair has no positional power at all. The board, hires and fires the CEO and approves the strategy and monitors risk. And when we do things like the recent safety stand down, the board is involved in those kinds of decisions. But the job of the chair of the board is to really facilitate meetings and honestly, when the board is meeting, to try to figure out where the center of that body of people is. We try not to whatever, Brad's given a big speech, that doesn't mean a lot. What we're trying to say is, where is the majority? Where's the center of the view on that board? So I like to tell people it's not sometimes people think of the Key 3 is sort of a co-CEO-ship with three people being the CEO, but it really isn't that at all. It's three. We need to be tight. We need to be aligned. But Roger's got his job, Devang's got his job, Brad's got his job, and they're separate jobs. So that's my answer to your question, Gina, along with some extra credit offerings from me.
That's actually the perfect segue. It's also I got to say, it's really refreshing to hear that invitation to our viewers. Hey, let's get a conversation going. So be sure to post your questions. Let's get into the topics you all want to tackle. We have a lot of people saying, hey, we just got home from Commissioner Week and we got to meet these guys. Very cool. Let me ask you off the cuff, what was that experience like?
So, hey, Gina, first off, let me echo Brad's opening sentiments in saying it's so awesome to be finally to be a guest on your show.
Yeah,
Brad
we've been begging to be on this show for a long time, and Gina kept saying, no, not yet. Yeah.
But, I do want to acknowledge and say thank you to our incredible army of volunteers who make Scouting America come to life every single day. In church meeting rooms and VFW halls and school cafeterias and other places. And it's really nice to see some of the comments from Rob and Fred who were out at Commissioner Week at Philmont. We just returned from that exciting week where we had a sold out crowd of commissioners from every level of our movement wanting to become better at their role in how they serve our young people today. And while I have the floor, Steve had asked what the NOLC is. And Steve, that is the National Operations Leadership Council, which is a body of Scouting America that houses all of the operational committees of the movement, program committees, Scouts BSA, as well as Cub Scouting and other things are all under the umbrella of the National Operations Leadership Council. So I hope that answers your question. But as Brad indicated, I am extremely humbled and honored to have been asked to serve as the 13th National Commissioner of Scouting America. I am in this job for about roughly 50 days so far, and it has been drinking from the fire hose. But I do have a special shout out to my predecessor, Scott Sorrells, for providing me with an incredible transition from his tenure as the National Commissioner. And our incredible group of volunteers headed up by Larry Chase on the National Service Team. And what I get to do, in addition to keeping the national chair in line, is to help our units. Commissioners are charged with the primary responsibility of ensuring that our units are thriving and have all of the resources that they need in order to keep scouting alive for our young people. And we have a saying in the Commissioner Corps that we like to be the single best resource for unit leaders. We are here to help. And so, as Brad has said, how can we help you? Whether it's from the national chair, the key three, myself, or Roger, we are here to help and serve our unit leaders become better leaders and to do their job efficiently and as effortlessly as possible to make a difference in the lives of our young people. So.
Very well said. And you actually totally answered my second question. So thank you, Devang. But what I also wanted to say is we were talking about, this how refreshing it is to have, a transparent, open conversation here. It's also super refreshing to see you come into this role. We love Scott, but we just love the energy and getting to hear from you. Like, I'm just very excited about the future of scouting, knowing you're part of this leadership team. So thanks for stepping in. Thanks for what you've done. And did you say 51 days?
It's roughly been about 51 days. Yeah.
So what have you done with those 51 days? What have you done so far?
So the first thing I did was we went to the national meeting, which is where we were kind of officially installed, if you will, the passing of the baton from Scott to myself. We had a jam-packed week that week, and then following that, 2 weeks later, we had a strategy conference at Philmont with the National Service Team, where everybody came in a couple days before the actual Commissioner Week took place. Where we charted out our whole year, looked at what has worked well this past year, what didn't work so well, reassessed, and try to figure out a path forward. In addition to having a very successful Commissioner Week at Philmont Scout Ranch with the incredible hospitality of Andrea Watson and Amy Hutcherson, the new director of the Philmont Training Center, and their incredible staff of backcountry rangers to the front office and administration, to base camp folks, and just seeing the incredible energy of our young people who come to Philmont, seeing the amazing amount of scouts who are on cavalcade, the incredible bringing together of young ladies who are pretty much, I think, taking over in some respects many of the crews and treks out of Philmont, and hearing their stories and how passionate they are about scouting, and seeing the unit leaders who are probably equally more passionate. And as Brad and I can attest to, in speaking to one of the unit leaders, he says to us, and he was from Memphis, Tennessee, and he says, I am super excited to see how our young people come off this trail, because it's not so much about the hiking as it is about them working together, solving problems, and growing to be better leaders. That will be the ultimate payback at the end of this week, which is when their trek ends. And that is pretty much the payback that all of us unit leaders strive for when we are working with our young people, is to see them grow and mature.
Beautifully said. And it calls to mind everybody watching right now. Check out our live video from yesterday. We went live with Philmont. There are still some spots for 2026 and some incredible incentives to actually book a trek in 2026. So check that out. Thanks to all of our viewers. Hillary is coming in with a tough question that I want to throw your way, Brad. Scouting grew from nothing 115 years ago. Why is it struggling to grow today from a much larger base than zero? It's a really insightful way to look at it.
It's a really, really good question. Devang, thank you for speaking about Philmont. First of all, it's really sort of spiritual to be there, and I bet a lot of you have been there. But if you haven't, it's something it should definitely be on your bucket list. To Hillary's question, I was in Scouts. I'm 64 years old, so I would have joined when I was 8 years old. That would have been 1968. Joined the scouting program when I was 11, would have been 71. That was kind of the peak, to be honest with you. Back then, I think it was really Scouts, and I was an altar boy at church, and it was Little League Baseball. And Little League Baseball at the time was 6 or 8 weeks with a dad that didn't know anything about baseball, and now kids have, you look at the pie, and they show us in board meetings, most kids are involved in, there's 60 or 70 or 80 choices. And if they happen to do baseball or volleyball or softball, they might do it 10 months of the year with their own hitting coach or pitching coach and club team and a high school team. So there's way more competition for their time. But I also, the other thing I'll talk about in this, I would love if you guys could give Gina some feedback, but Danielle and I have 2 daughters, and I'll contrast today to when my mom was our den leader. In the early 70s, she had 6 kids, and she thought nothing. And I know she thought something, but I'm overstating it. But someone said, "Hey, Cecile Tilden, do you want to be the den mother and have 8 more kids over your house? So you got 14 kids on a Tuesday afternoon." And back then people said, no problem. And we have 2 fantastic kids, but if one of their spouses is out of town, they each have 2 kids, they invite Danielle over to watch the second kid. And it's just a different mentality about sort of the responsibility than there was 50 years ago. So I think it's actually harder to get volunteers than it was. And I think this affects our ability to grow. I really think great volunteers like you all is the limiter to our growth. Because I don't know, I feel the goodness of the program. Honestly, Danielle and I have 3 daughters. There's one that's not one that doesn't have kids yet, but Devang, Devang's laughing at me for some reason. But
yeah, like what happened to poor Maria?
Yeah, she's out at the airport right now. Scouting, our kids sort of, without me reciting at the dinner table every night, they know the Scout Oath and Scout Law, and they really live that stuff really, really well. But the hardening that scouting does, and sort of one of my best friends says, the scouting program is a program of failure. I think you all know what I mean when I say that. You go out there and you do fail in a safe environment, and slowly, 11, 12, 13, slowly you become competent. Like you actually know how to hike 10 or 15 miles in a day and put sunscreen on and put a raincoat on before you're soaking wet and set your tent up properly and make the spaghetti properly. You get competence on all those things, and those things give you extraordinary confidence that later in life, when a boss gives you a poor performance review or looks at you sideways or something, you're a lot more rugged, you're tougher. And what I'm trying to say is what we do resonates more than ever. I think we might need to be
Did we lose Brad there, Gina?
He's frozen. I'm giving him a second to see if he unfreezes it.
Now we offer it.
Brad, can you hear us?
I kind of like that frozen look on his face, but
it's perfect.
To kind of finish off what Brad may be saying, I think that we are afforded so many different options in today's society that it's really difficult for parents to commit the time that it once took and still takes to become a volunteer leader in Scouting America. And those are some of the things that we are actually looking at on the national level and through our National Operations Leadership Council, the NOLC, in terms of figuring out how we can make volunteering easy for our parents and other volunteer leaders who want to serve our young people. We've spent a lot of time trying to figure out, do you have to pick sports or band or cheerleading compared to scouting? And the answer to that is absolutely not. And one of the things that we are trying to highlight in the newer culture of commissioner service is to encourage our unit leaders to allow for more flexibility in working with our young people, giving them the credits of serving in a leadership capacity for activities in school and letting that count for scouting related leadership credits, making sure that if they want to go and compete in sports and other activities, that scouting will always be here. And I like to call it as a scout in, scout out kind of a philosophy, and not have this very rigid requirement that you must be in scouts 24/7 every single day of the week. Because as Hillary has pointed out, we have a 98% market share out there that we have not even begun to touch. And Brad can certainly speak to this as well. But in working with Roger Crone and his team, we are trying to spend more and more resources in helping us tell our story to America in ways and manners that are reaching a wider population than we ever have, because we're really good at talking to ourselves, but we're not so great at communicating to the rest of the world what scouting is all about and what it requires of you to join, as well as the commitment it takes going forward. And so this fall, we're running some incredible ads and marketing on different streaming platforms, which are things that we've never done before, be it on Hulu, working with Disney and ESPN to create those opportunities to share our story. We had an incredible post on the anniversary of Scouting 115th on Good Morning America this past year as well, which was pretty well received to tell the story. But doing these types of events, Gina, as you are well accustomed to doing, helps tell that story and sell why scouting matters, to address what Brad was saying, which is scouting helps build resilient young people in a world that desperately needs it, right? Helping us engage in civil dialogue versus civil discourse and disobedience, given the craziness that's out there in today's society. And as more and more people say, and Brad and I heard this so often this past week at Philmont, America needs scouting. The world needs scouting now more than ever before.
Very good. The audience is definitely happy with that answer. Thank you for the thoughtful answer we're seeing. And yes, we agree, there's a bottleneck of volunteers. Yeah, I think that resonates. Actually, Brad, the story you told resonates with me. I have 2 kids and I need help with just 2. And yeah. I don't know if that's because I didn't grow up in scouting. I maybe don't have that grit to know, I can lead a handful of kids. I also, there's a dynamic that happens when you have a little bit larger of a group of kids. It definitely resonates with me. So this idea that, if we get this next generation involved in scouting, it could be self-fulfilling where they're, I can lead 6 kids, 8 kids. Yeah.
No, I don't mean to, all of our moms did this, but people, I don't know, we let kids run, after school 50 years ago, we ran, we were gone at 3, and the dinner triangle, you needed to have one to get your kid home. And now for good reason, parents don't let their kids out of their sight. And it's actually another reason why scouting is important. Kids can actually handle a lot of responsibility, and we need to find ways to give it to them. It's really important to their own growth. I'm sorry for our dog. He's being a pain in the rear. Our daughter just got home, so I'm going to mute for a second here.
No, that's great. And honestly, I think that's what parents are looking for right now. So Rob's saying, yes, not everyone knows what scouting is all about. When those families show up and join nights, we have to explain what scouting is and convince them to sign up their kids. Yeah, perfect example. Okay, we've talked a little bit.
Rob, I'm more of a believer. Like we've got four grandkids now, and I'm more of a believer than I've ever been. It's really, really, it's not just a good activity for them. It's really important that they do it. They will get, I don't know, they will, I don't know. We want the president of the United States. So many presidents have been Eagle Scouts, and 20 of the 24 people have been to the moon, and people that command aircraft carriers. It will get them leadership and sort of toughening resilience that will prepare them for those roles. And anyway, we got a bump in front of us that we got to find a way to get over, because so many people will benefit if we can get more people using this program.
Certainly. Those words like grit and resilience appeal to a parent like me who didn't grow up in scouting. So I like that. Well, let's talk about National Annual Meeting just for a minute. I know we don't have y'all too much longer here, but a couple more questions. You were both at Scouting America's National Annual Meeting. What were the biggest takeaways? Is there anything you want to make sure you highlight? Devang, you want to take this one?
Sure, no problem. First off, I will say that the energy that was abundant in Orlando, Florida at the National Annual Meeting was outstanding. You know, this is the first time in a long time where we celebrated all of the great things happening in Scouting America and happening with our volunteers and our young people. To start us off, we had an incredible opportunity to celebrate some really awesome heroes with the awarding of silver antelopes and silver buffaloes, of which our national chair, Brad Tilden, was a recipient for their service to Scouting America. In addition to our religious awards that were handed out to volunteer leaders who help teach the 12th point of the Scout law, that a Scout is reverent to our young people every single day, and a lot of young Scouts who also earned their religious awards at a higher level. There were some important sessions that were focused in on the need for us as an organization to help focus in on young boys. Richard Reeves was an incredible speaker that came in to talk about the importance of having a program that speaks to young boys in an age and in society where young boys are not seeming to advance as quickly or be part of or want to be part of organizations compared to their counterparts on the other side. Secondarily, there was a strong emphasis on our need and different ways in which we can help recruit and strategies for recruitment. We talked about the organization at a 10,000-foot level relative to finances, as well as council operations, and the fact that we strongly were continuing to encourage local councils to help partner with other local councils to be able to deliver scouting in a more efficient manner such that we can serve more young people. And we are encouraging a lot of great conversations around this country with councils to basically take on the role of working with local councils in their area to partner with them on growth strategies, helping with financial stability and retention, as well as encouraging volunteers to sign up, and the sharing of scout camps around this country, and to maybe potentially reassess whether many councils need as many properties as they might have, depending on the number of young people that they get to serve. So those are a couple of the highlights, and a quick shout out to our event management team and Wendy Curtin on the professional staff for just running an incredible meeting and putting all those things together. And not to mention David Montgomery, who is a rock star out there. Brad and David did run in the 5K, although I'll let Brad tell you who won that race. And Roger ran in it too. But David's story, as many of you probably know, as being our national spokesperson for Scouting America, has just an incredible story of his engagement with scouting as an Eagle Scout and why he still continues to believe in the power of scouting as a professional NFL athlete. And so that was really awesome to see and hear from him on the stage as well. So those are a couple of quick highlights. I know there were a couple of program announcements, and I'll defer to Brad here for a second. And we'll be happy to answer questions, Gina, that you might have, I think, regarding the merit badges, as well as the new youth safety program.
Yes, that's what we're about to get into. Also, as you're saying, David Montgomery, I want to make sure we highlight for our audience who's saying, new marketing assets, when are those going to come out? What can we get our hands on? Don't worry, that stuff is going to hit the brand center. We are in the works on it right now. So you will get your hands on iterations of our advertising campaign that work for your unit and work for your councils. Keep your eyes out for that. Yeah. Love the comments. Keep them coming. Yes. Okay. Devang was right on it. Brad. So we've heard a little bit about the new Safeguarding Youth training. Some people have actually taken it. We've gotten to have Glenn Pounder on a few live shows. Yeah. Is there anything our audience needs to know about the new training?
The only thing I would just say is it's another example of, this is actually great. Like, honestly, we went through a bankruptcy for sex abuse, and a lot of those cases happened in the 70s and 80s. I can't remember the numbers, but 70, 80, 90% of them. There's our record in the last couple of decades has been quite good. Not perfect, but good. So the only thing I think, Gina, it's very important. Taking the training is very important. Too deep leadership is very important. Tenting policy is very important. Please, as leaders, do the things. This is sort of a real sacred responsibility we have to take care of kids. So please do that stuff. Take the training. My background's airline business, and with safety comes up, what we always wanted, we never wanted people rolling their eyes. We always wanted them taking it really seriously. And for their part, the national team tries really hard to make the training relevant and useful and not any longer than it needs to be. The other thing I might touch on really quickly, Gene, is we recently had a safety stand down for our shooting sports, and that was related to an incident that happened on a shooting range at the Summit in West Virginia. And what I'll also say there is that safety stand downs are a sign of a good culture, not a bad culture. Sometimes people get concerned about that stuff, but industrial companies do them regularly. The military does them regularly. This is how you stop and you take a pause and you say, well, what exactly happened? And how can I prevent that from happening again? And that's what we need to do. And so for those of you that participated in the safety stand down, thank you for doing that. We do sometimes worry that people, sometimes we worry about how things look, and so we don't take the right action. And the right action is to, what I say, put this stuff in the middle of the table, put sunlight on it, talk about it, and talk about how you can make sure it doesn't happen again. And our culture is much, much stronger in the Scouts than it was a decade ago, but we're not quite where we need to be yet. So the safety stand down happened. Thanks for any role that you played in it. And my encouragement, when you hear of those things happening, ask a question or two. Say, what happened? What happened at the Summit? What did we learn from this? And the most important thing, how do I ensure this doesn't happen at my camp? That's the reason we do the stand down. So thanks, Gina.
Very good. If you're watching right now and you're thinking, oh, I got to take training, you get to take this awesome training. If you're still good on your youth protection training right now, you don't have to go take this right this second. We encourage you to take it as soon as you have the time to do it, but your youth protection training is still valid right now if it is as you took it. But before May, make sure you get that training in. Okay, next up is another piece of news coming at a national annual meeting. People are super pumped about this. It's the digital merit badge initiative we have going on right now. I know for years we've talked about this, having the digital version of the merit badges online. How did this happen? What's the future for merit badges? I guess if either of you would prefer to talk about this, take it on.
Devang will do this one.
I think it's absolutely fantastic that we have finally come to what's the 21st century, right? In making some of these resources available for free to any person that wants to check out what a merit badge book looks like and the requirements to help young people get more excited and energized about things that they're passionate in, whether they're in scouting or not, because our hope is that by offering these resources that are out there for the world to see, we can stimulate some interest in young people to help join Scouting America, where they can see that we have all these great things going on. So 2 new exciting things in addition to the launch of an online free merit badge pamphlet database. We've got 2 new merit badges, right? Cybersecurity and AI coming out, which are awesome. And we just rolled out the aviation merit badge, which is all about utilization of online technology and working with Scoutly, which is our new AI bot that's going to help automate scouting and answer a lot of questions. But in terms of this coming year, the 2 new badges on cybersecurity and AI will help engage Scoutly, the new automated feature. In addition, it's also going to help talk about the ethics of artificial intelligence and cybersecurity, because I know a lot of our young people and a lot of our volunteers are really engaged on, whether it's ChatGPT or whatever else platform you want to use, to do a lot of great things that make life a lot easier. And so hopefully with the technology and the resources being spent by our national office in investing in our technology, we can continue to see better improvements in the way in which you register to join it, to be a scout, to doing your safe youth protection training, as well as the merit badge counseling and earning your own badges as well as we move forward. So some pretty cool stuff with the intersection of technology and our Scouting America program materials.
It feels really good to get feedback from youth asking for a merit badge they want and to be able to say it's actually about to come out. And that, so we definitely applaud the team that's been working on these merit badges. Very, very cool. Yeah, love the direction merit badges happening. The Scouts BSA test lab for merit badges, also super cool. We talked about that. Check out our past Troop Talk Live if you are watching right now and want more information there. Okay, we're coming to the end of our show. Just some final closing questions, but just one more reminder for anybody watching, we are joined with two of our key three, our national key three right now. Very cool show. Make sure if you didn't get to watch since the beginning, after we're live, you can rewatch the show, tag somebody in the comments who you think would benefit from catching our discussion today. We've covered a lot of topics. So on that note, I'm curious, Brad, is there anything else you want to make sure our new families and our unit leaders know?
You know, the only, I'll maybe end where I started. Just thank you for what you're doing. There are a lot of people here that want to help you. One of the things I saw in my career in the sort of for-profit world is a lot of times you don't know if you fit. You don't know, should I go to the NAM? Should I go to this program training workshop? Should I go to this wood badge session or what have you? What I just really want to say is, please, yes, absolutely. You're welcome everywhere. Jump in, make full use of this program. It is an extraordinary program. I mean, not only will your kids be better off, we're better off when we volunteer in this program. So thanks for what you're doing. You're welcome to be with us anywhere and everywhere. Come to Philmont, come to the National Annual Meeting next year. Just jump in. I think this will be a great program for you and your family. I really encourage all of you. And I have a sense, I don't know who all of you are because we don't see you all, but I have a sense that you are the deeply embedded choir. I have a sense I'm preaching to a well-established choir right now, but thanks for being here. And honestly, Gina, thanks for having us. If Devang or I can ever do anything for any of you, you can get a hold of us through Gina, or I'm brad.tilden@scouting.org. Devang's, I think his email is similar, but we just want to help you and support you however we can.
Very cool. And you're right. A lot of times we are preaching to the choir right now, but a lot, you can take what you hear here and share it with your new family so that they're hearing the same thing. And also, I think that's a point we don't hit on enough. Come to anything you can in scouting. You won't be a stranger. You will make a friend. Scouters are friendly. Yes, they may start using acronyms you don't understand, but it's a great chance to ask them what those mean and to help define it for new families. So very cool. Okay, Devang, it's like my notes are basically telling me put all the pressure on Devang to ask him how he's starting out his term. As you begin your term as National Commissioner, do you have any advice for Scoutmasters out there?
I certainly do, and thank you, Gina. I'll kind of say this. If you're a new unit leader, if you're a veteran unit leader, use your commissioners. We are here to help you. We are here to partner with you to help you become a better version of yourself as a leader and as a unit. Because when we do that, we allow for our young people to thrive. We want to keep them in scouting. We want to get new kids in scouting. And your unit commissioner is your single best resource to helping be your partner in this journey. We want to streamline the flow of information to you. If you have any questions or any challenges, we want to be able to help you when you need it most. And if you can't get answers, let us know and we will work on getting them for you. And as Brad alluded to a second ago, we want to say thank you. I truly believe that there is nothing stronger than the heart of a volunteer, and each and every one of you deserve both my and Brad's gratitude, along with our national board, for everything you do to help our young people be better human beings. So for that, thank you very much. Excited to be here. Excited to continue on this journey. Excited to certainly work with my friend Brad as we continue to work in leading scouting forward. And as they like to say, and I think Brad says in his former career, onward and upwards, right? But Gina, thank you for having us. My email address is similar to Brad's. It's devang.desai@scouting.org. And if there's anything that either one of us can do for anyone, please feel free to reach out and we'll be happy to do our best to help. Again, thank you for having us and thank you for all you do for scouting.
Thank you, Devang and Brad. Thank you for giving your time to scouting. You're a great team. We're really excited to have you on the show. Come back anytime. Thank you to Amy and Don for watching. Thanks for tuning in with us. Dot, Pinking, we see you as well. Thanks for tuning in. Keep the comments coming. Keep your questions coming. We know how to get a hold of these guys, so we can send them an email if you have any hard questions or easy questions. Let us know. Everybody, we will be back live on Friday for Cub Chat Live, and we will be back next month for Troop Talk Live. Thanks for tuning in. Check out all our past episodes, and we'll see you next time.